Happy first day of fall. The good stuff is live. Today, Mary's serving up a coffee cake that tastes like autumn in every bite. Then, Megan Arthurs is taking your closet from tank tops to turtlenecks with easy fall fixes. Plus, Leigh-Ann Allaire Perrault shows how to cozy up your home with this season's hottest colors. And we have the real estate tips you need if you're falling for a new home. It all starts right now.
More like a sports guy than getting my name chanted. Listen, we are live today, and I'm feeling very excited about it. Now, in addition to being live, today is an extra wonderful day because the leaves are turning, the Blue Jays are out, and I am busting out my favorite sweaters because it is the first day of fall, everybody. I'm feeling excited about it. Now, to celebrate the start of cozy and, in my books, baking season, we're gonna bake up a delicious coffee cake with two of the season's most iconic flavors. We're talking apple and pecan. How does that sound? Yeah. I love a coffee cake. It's so good, it's delicious. Also, the term coffee cake, in my mind, means that you can eat it literally any time of day. It's a breakfast cake, so always good, definitely good for first thing in the morning. So the first thing we wanna do is get to work on the batter for this coffee cake. Now in this bowl here, I have got half a cup of butter that I've creamed together with half a cup of white sugar and half a cup of brown sugar. I love the flavor of brown sugar. The combination of the two is really, really great because the white sugar gives you that kind of crispy topping, that crispy edge, where the brown sugar gives you that flavor of molasses, which I absolutely love. Now, if you do not have brown sugar, or you go into your brown sugar container and it is the texture of a rock, you can actually make your own. You just do about a cup of white sugar to about a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons, depending on how dark you want your brown sugar, of molasses. So that container of molasses you had from last Christmas comes in handy now. All right, now into there, we're gonna go in with some eggs. Now I'm gonna go in with 2 eggs, but anytime I'm adding eggs into a mixture that is fatty, something like this butter mixture, you actually wanna go one at a time. Because similar to making something like a salad dressing, we're mixing something that's really, really watery, the egg, with something that's really, really fatty. So that is gonna help everything kind of emulsify together. That egg yolk is gonna help as well. Looking absolutely beautiful. Also, dream, so excited. Second egg is gonna go in. Now, this is a really basic coffee cake recipe that you can use and flavor however you want. We're gonna do a nice kind of plain vanilla-y cake batter, and then just do that streusel layer with the apple and that cinnamon and that beautiful pecan. But if you wanted to, you could totally add spices into this as well. All right, that's looking absolutely stunning. Now into there, we're gonna go in with that vanilla extract. I like about 1.5 teaspoons. That's half a tablespoon for anybody who wants to know. But if you want to, measure it. I am a free pourer. This and my phone battery are how I live on the edge. My phone battery is always at 10%, and I'm like, what's gonna happen, everybody? Let's do it. All right, give that a mix to combine. Perfect. And then the secret ingredient in any of my coffee cake batters is a little bit of either yogurt or sour cream. So I've got a cup of plain yogurt here. You don't necessarily want to use light yogurt. I'm using regular kind of like Balkan style yogurt, the one that's not too thick. If you just had Greek yogurt though, or skyr, that would work as well. So would sour cream. What this is gonna do is it's gonna add a ton of moisture, a little bit of tang, and it's gonna help the baking powder and baking soda react, giving you a fluffier cake. So give that a good mix to combine. Looking beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love baking. As soon as it gets cold out, I'm like, here we go, let's do this thing. All right, that's looking great. Now we're gonna do the dry ingredients. So into a separate bowl, I'm gonna go in with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Anytime you're making a cake, all-purpose flour is the way to go. Gives you a nice light creme. So I'm gonna go right on in. You would think cake and pastry flour is what you wanna use, but definitely not on a coffee cake. You want it to be a little bit dense. Perfect. Now into there, I'm gonna go in with 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Perfect. Baking powder is great. Baking powder reacts twice. It reacts once when it hits a little bit of something acidic, something like that yogurt, but it reacts again once it hits the heat of the oven, giving you kind of a double puff. But for a real good kickstart, we're also gonna go in with a teaspoon of baking soda. That does that classic volcano effect when it hits something acidic. So like that yogurt, it's gonna give that initial puff, giving you lots of bubbles, which is gonna be great. A little bit of salt just to counterbalance all that sugar, but half a teaspoon of that. Give that a whisk to combine. And that is looking absolutely beautiful. Okay, now, dry goes into wet. And this is actually a pretty thick batter. It is not super pourable and cakey. It gives you a really nice texture. So just mix it just until combined. I always like to do dry into wet when I'm doing cake. Honestly, I don't really know why, but it is the way Manana did it, so it's the way that I do it, am I right? You know. All right, and as you can see, it's a really kind of stiff batter, but this is gonna give you really nice bubbles. It's gonna give you really nice structure as well, and it almost gives it a bit of like a muffiny texture, which is a dream. All right, that is looking perfect, just until all of that flour is combined. And I'm just gonna set that aside while I work on that streusel layer. Now, for the streusel layer, this is like the best part of coffee cake. It's the little like crunchers in the middle and on top. So, so tasty. So we're gonna go in with half a cup of brown sugar. The brown sugar, again, gives you that molasses flavor, super, super tasty. Then I'm gonna go in with half a cup of all-purpose flour. Now, a lot of times you'll see a coffee cake batter recipe or coffee cake recipe, and it will tell you to use like 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, maybe 2 tablespoons of flour. I like a thick layer. So much, you're not putting icing on it, it's basically the decoration, so we're gonna be good to go. All right, that's gonna go in. Then I'm gonna go in with a full tablespoon of cinnamon. This is where we get all of that fall flavor. If you want, you can add in pumpkin spice if that's your bag, but I absolutely love cinnamon, apples, and pecans together, so that's gonna be perfect. Season that up just to balance it out with a little bit of salt, about half a teaspoon of that. Give that a whisk to combine. Perfect. Now the addition of the flour in there is gonna help this clump up because you want those little nuggets of that beautiful streusel. But before I add in the butter, we're gonna go in with our pecans. So I've got about 3/4 of a cup of chopped pecans here. If you don't like pecans, you could do walnuts, you could do almonds, you could totally leave them out, but they add a really nice crunch in there, which is a total dream. Give that a mix to combine. And then in goes the beautiful butter. Now this uses 1/3 cup of melted butter. My mom used to buy this coffee cake blend or mix from the grocery store. And my favorite job was always mixing up the streusel layer because you do it in like a zip top bag and just kind of crumble it around. It was really, really great. This one makes about 8 times that amount. Because again, I know myself well enough to know that this is my favorite part of the cake. You want it to be a little bit crumbly though. If all of that flour mixture doesn't dissolve in, honestly, that's gonna be fine. The moisture from the cake batter is gonna kind of help cook that down and moisten it up. But you're looking for this beautiful texture. Now, in addition to those pecans, to that cinnamon, I did promise you apples, because it is apple picking season. And if you've gone apple picking, you're gonna be like Mary Berg. What do I do with all these apples? This is what you do with one of them. I've chopped up 1 apple, just peeled it, chopped it. You don't have to peel it if you don't want to. Just a good baking apple. Perfect. Add that on in. Give that a stir. And that's gonna give you like juicy little pops as well. Bring a little bit more moisture into the mix. All right, now come take a look at this batter. Because we have that beautiful yogurt in there, which is nice and acidic, and we have that baking powder and baking soda, look at the amount of bubbles and fluffiness going on in that batter. That is so much texture, it's gonna be beautiful. So I have got a bundt pan over here that I've just sprayed with a little bit of nonstick cooking spray. So I'm gonna go in with about half of that batter right into the bottom. It's gonna feel like it's not enough. Don't overfill. Because what's gonna happen is as this bakes, the layer of streusel that's in the middle is gonna kind of rise up, get pushed up by all those bubbles. So just do a nice thin layer right along the bottom. Perfect. Scatter on half of that streusel. Oh my gosh, I'm very excited. And again, a thick layer of streusel. Then I'm just gonna keep assembling this. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we come back, we're gonna eat this cake and I'm pumped about it.
Tomorrow, Chef Chuck Hughes is here, putting a spotlight on some of Canada's hottest restaurants and cooking up a recipe that'll have you booking a reservation. Then, Winston C. has the tech that'll save you time, and Science Sam puts viral kitchen hacks to the test to see what really works. Plus, Superstore star Lauren Ash is here, and she's bringing something spooky just in time for Halloween. That's tomorrow, live and all new on The Good Stuff.
Want to be on The Good Stuff?
Yeah! Amazing!
Whether you're ready for a brand new look,
Oh my gosh!
a refresh in your living space,
Oh my God.
need help with a special event, or want to show off your skills in the kitchen,
All right, let's go!
simply scan the QR code below and apply to be on the show.
In the kitchen, and we're celebrating the first day of fall today, aka in my house, the first day of baking season. I'm feeling really good about it. Now, we are making my Apple Pecan Coffee Cake. This is so good. I agree. A little clap for it. What a delight. So good. Now, before the break, I made this super simple batter. It comes together really, really quickly. There's butter, a little bit of yogurt to give it extra lift, and then we made that wonderful streusel layer. Now, I like that layer in the middle, and then I also like it on top. Now, I am baking mine in a bundt pan. If you don't have a bundt pan, you can do this in a square or rectangular pan. That will work absolutely perfectly as well. I just like the bundt because you get more of that golden brown edge. That top is so nice. It looks beautiful. What a star. Now, I've got the rest of this streusel here, and I'm just gonna scatter this over top. We've got those beautiful apples in there. If you are still trying to hold on to the last days of summer, you could swap out the apples for a little bit of peach. That would be really, really nice. Maybe pop a little bit of coconut in there. You're kind of feeling a little bit more, you know, summery, but again, I am a fall girl through and through. Boy, I don't like sweating, so this is my season. All right, so we're just gonna pop that right on top to give you that beautiful layer. Now, I wanna bake this in a 350-degree oven. This takes about 50 minutes to an hour to bake. It's a good long time, but it's gonna be absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna pop that in just on the center rack and let that do its thing. Then, you take it out of the oven, you set it aside to cool pretty much completely. When you're doing a bundt, you really want it to hold that shape. As your cake is cooling, basically what's happening is the starches or the gelatin in the actual flour starts to grab onto each other, building a little structure, making it so that cake won't fall apart. If you've ever had an issue turning your cake out and it falls apart, maybe it was still a little bit too warm, so everything hadn't like grabbed onto its buddy yet. But to serve this cake, typically when you're doing a bundt, you often serve it actually upside down. You want this nice rounded side on the top. I don't want to do that. Look at this streusel. That you want as the star of the show. I'm very excited. So we have to do some acrobats, I'm not gonna lie. Acrobatics, get your plate, turn it over. This is the stunt plate. We're not actually serving on this plate. We're gonna give it a confident flip. 3, 2, 1. Pretty good. You just have to be confident. Then you do one of these for a little bit of good measure, just to make sure it came out. There we go. Beautiful. Now again, if you wanted to, or you were serving a cake that didn't have that streusel layer on the other side, you would just serve it like this, a little bit of glaze on there, absolutely beautiful. But we're just gonna make things extra difficult on me on live TV. We're gonna do one of these, pop the cake pedestal on top, and then another, very confident, very quick, 3, 2, 1, flip. Okay. Beautiful. Listen, if you wanted to, you could easily dust this with a little bit of icing sugar or some icing sugar mixed with some cinnamon. You could do a little cream cheese glaze on there. But to me, the thing that really keeps this as a coffee cake is just having it as is. You just give it a little bit of a slice through that beautiful mixture. All those pecans. This is like celebration of fall, 100%. Look at the layer. Can you see that? Oh my gosh. That's absolutely stunning. Now, since we're celebrating today, I figure I'm gonna get a little fork here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna have a seat. I've never done this before. I also didn't tell anybody I was gonna do this, so this is always fun. But to be honest, honestly, I love the fall. Baking and sharing good fall baked goods is one of my favorite things to do. So I hope you make this. My friend Charlotte's dad, Barry, hope you enjoy it, because I know you were watching specifically for this carrot cake. Enjoy. We gotta take a break. We'll be right back.
Coming up, Megan Arthurs is taking your closet from tank tops to turtlenecks with easy fall fixes. That's coming up next.
Reorganize our closets. Well, Megan Arthurs is here with her fall wardrobe reset. Hey, Megan, how's it going?
Hey, Mary. Oh, my goodness. Sweater weather is my favorite kind of organizing forecast.
Same.
Love it.
Yes, I truly look forward to this time of year so much because not only do you get to like reorganize, take account of what you actually have, but you get to go through clothes that maybe you haven't seen in a while.
Yes.
And you feel like you're shopping your own closet.
It's so true.
Yeah.
You're like, hello, old friend.
I know. I forgot about you. Yes. Okay, so it is time to swap out, obviously, all those kind of summery dresses for those beautiful, cozy sweaters that we know and love. What is it that you love in particular about a fall edit?
Okay, so fall is the season that actually affects your wardrobe the most from an organizational standpoint. It's when we're taking the lighter pieces like the sundresses, the tank tops, the sandals, and we're just tucking them to a side. And then we really are cultivating more space for like the thicker stuff, like the turtlenecks and like the cozy knits. And like, can you tell I love this
I know,
season?
I'm super amped about it.
So when you don't reset your space, your closet is naturally gonna feel very cramped and a little overwhelmed, and then you can't see what you have, and you know if we can't see it,
you're not gonna wear it.
You got it.
100%. I'm gonna end up wearing the exact same thing to work every single day, which I often do. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started in the world of the closet. You want to talk a little bit about creating a closet flow.
Yes, establishing closet flow during this time is super essential. So the first thing you want to do, which I know a lot of people don't like doing, it's purging.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like what I consider like eating your leafy greens.
Okay.
You know, it's like you don't like it.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it.
Yeah, but you got to do it.
But when you do, you're like, oh, I'm so healthy.
Yeah,
This is so good. So we're purging the summer items because we just had that season.
Yeah.
So we know in our head, like, what did you wear?
Smart.
What didn't you wear?
Yeah.
What doesn't fit? So take those items out, maybe donate them, maybe sell them, maybe give them to friends or family. And then you want to focus on the actual fall clothing. So when it comes to fall clothing, you want to group your clothing with categories.
Okay.
So like with like together. It's like asking your clothing to find its fellow family members.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's nice. This is the skirt family.
The skirt family.
Yeah.
And this is the blouse family. So we're grouping, and then we can color coordinate within each category. And the reason color coordination is effective, it's not just visually effective, it helps in the morning. Like it helps reduce stress.
Yeah.
You know when you're like, I have a purple long sleeve, but where is it?
You were describing my literal morning this morning, Megan. I was like, I can't find anything. Yeah.
Stressful, right? Okay, and also very stressful is space.
Yes.
So because the fall clothing is bulkier, we often are like, I really wish I had more square footage. We're not gonna do a big closet reno. What am I gonna do? Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna invest in a horizontal closet hanging rod.
Okay.
Which just hooks onto your pre-existing rod, and then you now have an additional storage double hang that you didn't already have.
I love that.
Love it.
That's very handy. This is very, very nice. Okay, next up, we have to talk about our very favorite thing in the world.
Tell me.
We're talking sweaters, right? Yes, let's do it.
Okay, sweaters. Okay, so if you can, we're gonna fold our sweaters instead of hanging them.
Okay.
Because it's gonna preserve the condition and the shaping of the sweater.
You don't get the weird pookie sleeve.
You got it.
You don't want that.
So we're gonna go through 3 folding hacks today, and the first is called the vertical fold.
Okay.
So having your sweater on a flat surface, you're gonna take one sleeve and you're gonna fold it almost like diagonally.
Okay.
And then we're gonna flip it so it faces straight down.
Okay.
And then the exact same with the other sleeve. Excellent. And then we're taking one side of the sweater and folding it right to the center line. And then the other side is gonna fold on top of it.
Okay.
So we have this nice long rectangle.
Do you know what's nice about this? It's all the same thickness.
It feels good, right?
Yeah, that's really nice.
I always love folding with you.
We're really amped about folding.
Right?
Yeah.
We are organizing nerds. So then we want to look at our sweater as if we're splitting it into 3. So starting from the bottom, we're gonna fold 1.
Okay.
We're gonna fold 2. And we're gonna fold 3, and then it would typically stand on its end, and this is effective in a drawer or in a basket.
This is so great because you can actually see top down what you've got.
Yes, like bird's eye view.
Yeah, okay, fantastic.
Okay, so we're gonna reset and do our second fold, which is called the pocket fold. Very fancy.
Okay.
Okay, so the sleeves are going to cross horizontally, like across the chest. And then one side of the sweater is folding to the center line, and the other side is folding into the center line. So they're almost like hugging. They're not overlapping. And then the bottom is going to fold up just above halfway. And then you can see, Mary, that we have a little pocket.
I get the pocket now.
You get the pocket.
I'm picking it up. I'm picking it up.
Very good. So you can tuck the top of the sweater inside the pocket. And I know Mary's is going to look really pretty.
Listen, I worked at the Gap for 5 years. I know how to fold.
You're a folding master, really. And then you have this cute little pocket. It's like a little gift.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yes,
I love that.
And then our final one is called the space-saving shelf roll.
That is, say that 3 times fast.
I can't.
Right? Yeah.
It sounds very technical.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're actually starting with flipping the bottom underneath.
Okay.
And then the arms are going to fold across the chest again. And then one side of the sweater is going to the center line.
Oh, this feels like I'm making a fun napkin.
Okay, yeah.
Like a Thanksgiving napkin.
Yeah, it's like fall.
Yeah.
This is practicing for that holiday.
100%.
And then we're folding, actually we're rolling from the top to the bottom, as if like you're rolling a little burrito.
Okay.
Something you might know a thing or two about.
I do know how to do that too, yeah.
And then you have this like little piece of fabric here that's going to wrap around. This is really good for packing in a suitcase. Obviously, don't do this with your cashmere sweaters.
No.
And it's football season,
I was
Mary.
going to say, this feels like a football.
Go long.
Honestly, that's a delight. That's so good.
Fun, right?
That's super easy.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our sweaters all done.
Yes.
This is also the thing, a huge space taker-upper and also kind of like, boots.
I love that.
Do you know what I mean? You put your boots and then they do this.
They do. And you're like, oh, why won't you just stand?
Yeah.
Okay, boots. So here what I have. I have a magazine that'll teach you to hold.
Fantastic.
I have an empty wrapping paper roll.
Okay.
And I have a pool noodle.
And what do these have in common?
0 things,
Great.
except you can stuff your boots with them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you want to preserve the condition of your boots because, you know, if you're investing in boots, you want them to last. So we're going to go ahead and stuff our boots just to show. I'll get you to do this one, the magazine.
Okay.
To show that you can find items kicking around your house.
Because I've seen like you can buy literal things for this.
You can, and it will cost you an arm and a leg.
But why do they put you in a
both.
magazine?
Maybe both.
Oh, see, there you go.
So that's just a really great way to be resourceful in your home.
I love this. You know, like the magazines you get in the mail that you didn't ask for?
Yeah.
That's what you do with the magazines you did not ask for that you get in the mail. I love that.
Yes.
Now, last but not least, we're talking fall accessories.
Okay, this is a time where we got a lot of accessories. We got hats and scarves and jewelry. And what we do is we hide them in drawers. And we put them on really tall shelves. And then we're like, oh, right, I forgot about you. Yeah, so this is obviously creating a display-worthy gallery wall. So what I've done is I've taken decorative knobs that are like for a dresser or a nightstand and installed them on an empty wall. You can also do it on the back of a door using the vertical space.
We got Megan Arthur's bingo, everybody.
Yes.
If you've watched before, she loves a vertical space, and it's my favorite.
Every time I'm here,
every time we have to talk about it.
But it's a great way to organize. And then you can hang your accessories that way. It's functional, it's display worthy. You can see them and you're actually gonna wear them because you know, it's nice pieces, so why not wear your pieces?
It's so true. Honestly, I've got like a basket full of hats, and the only one I wear is the one that I have hanging up on my hook to grab. Yes. Guess what? We're getting doorknobs. We're putting them on a wall. I love it, Megan. Thank you so much. That was awesome. I love the folding.
Thanks,
Mary.
Mary.
I could fold all day with you.
Yeah,
Great stuff. We gotta take a break, and we'll be right back.
Up next, Leigh-Ann Allaire Perrault shows how to cozy up your home with this season's hottest colors. Stay tuned.
Are you sitting at home thinking, hey, seeing the good stuff live would be fun? Well, you are in luck. We would love for you, along with your friends and family, to be a part of our studio audience. Just scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen for your chance to join us. Tickets are free. Can't wait to hear from you. In the fall, it just feels like nature is showing off with all those beautiful colors. Well, here to help us bring that beauty inside is my bud, Leigh-Ann Allaire Perrault. How's it going?
Oh, it's going so well because it's the first day of fall.
I am amped.
I'm so excited.
Truly my favorite season.
I would
it's an
say it's
absolute
my
delight.
emotional support season.
I would agree.
It feels like a big hug.
I literally already have plans. I'm gonna go home and watch Sleepless in Seattle tonight. I'm so excited.
Oh my, I'm gonna go watch You've Got Mail.
Oh, dream. Okay, so I'm really pumped because you're gonna help us bring those beautiful fall colors that we know and love inside.
Everything quintessential about fall is the colors for me, which are really the leaves.
Yeah.
I love nothing more than just on a Sunday going for a drive in the crispy air, and then you see the beautiful colors. And I think there's no better way to bring that feeling into your home than with leaves.
Oh, okay.
Let's make it really simple here, right?
Yeah.
So I went on a little foraging excursion, and you can do something as simple as finding some fallen branches
Are these real?
in a vase. They're real.
Oh, those are so nice.
Aren't they beautiful?
Oh my gosh, and there's little acorns.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So really nature does it the most during the season, which I love. And also using actual leaves in your decor is so simple. Scattering some on a dining table I think is just so beautiful. But there's a little trick that I want everybody to consider when you're using real leaves. I want to hand this one to you, and I want you to give that a feel.
Oh, beautiful.
And then I also have this basket.
Oh.
I picked these the same day as I got that one. You see the difference?
One is juicy and one is not.
These are like very crunchy.
Yeah.
The one that's juicy, or I like to think velvety, I've actually dipped in beeswax to preserve them.
Oh, cool.
So it's a really easy thing to do. I'll take those from you. We've got a double boiler method kind of happening right here with some natural beeswax. Can you also smell what's happening here? Beeswax on its own smells amazing.
Did you put a smell in there?
I put a little essential oil in there. So similar to how you would do candle making, but you can add something and then it'll just give the leaves as well in your decor a little extra scent. So this was a spiced cake.
It does smell like cake.
Right?
I was like, this smells like butter.
It smells so yummy, right? Don't lick the leaves.
No.
But this is really as simple as, and I should say, finding leaves that have a stem, make this really easy. You just want to do a really simple dip front and back, and then do a little drip. It's very therapeutic.
I was going to say, I had to get in on this.
I have to tell you.
Oh, that's nice.
This was a Sunday afternoon craft with a little jazz music playing, a candle lit, and my husband was like, "Are you making cake?"
Leaves.
Surprise! We got leaves.
Leaves, and it's not even salad.
So after the drip, just lay it down on some parchment, and I will tell you, like, these will dry within about 60 seconds or so.
This is so cute.
And truly, the preserved element of them, they do feel like velvet.
Yeah.
So these will last you for months until the season is long past. And I think beyond just scattering them around, there's a few different ways that we can utilize them. Down here, I've made myself a little garland. So really simple, just with some twine. Really beautiful just to add onto your mantle for sure. And then even something as simple as taking frames that you already have around. Maybe don't cover up Uncle Rob in the frame, but if you've got some art that's maybe more summer seasonal or even not seasonally specific, put a little piece of craft paper in behind and then some leaves in there. Also just adds that little, like, it's that little touch, right? The little dash
like
of
a
the
little entryway thing.
Exactly. The preserved leaves are amazing for wreaths.
Oh, I like a
So
wreath.
if you already have a wreath and you just want to, even like, you can pull out the Christmas wreath early, but add on, wire on some of these leaves, and all of a sudden it's fall. Right? So work with what you've got, which makes it also an easy transition into the next season. This is actually my favorite. This is so simple. All I've done here, as you can see, is put some leaves around a glass container. So any glass vase that you have, some sort of canister. But the key that I want to point out here is once you've waxed the leaves, hot glue does not work. So if you're using these for craft projects, hot glue is not going to stick. So just take an elastic band, and then that will allow you to kind of lay the leaf down and add all of your leaves around. And then you just take some twine and wrap it to cover the elastic band.
Oh, cute.
Super simple. And then once you put some candles, let me tell you, Mary, when this one's lit, it almost looks like stained glass.
Oh, because it goes through the leaf.
It is so beautiful. So for a dining table, Thanksgiving's coming up, to have a bunch of those on your table, you just instantly, free decor.
Free decor.
Basically. And let me tell you, free, you don't need to go out and buy beeswax. If you have a beeswax candle, just melt that down and use that.
I was gonna say, where do you get beeswax if you are looking?
I ordered little pellets online, but again, if you, and I will say also, little tip, if you have a paraffin wax, you can use it, but it gives more of like that kind of frosty look to it because it's a white wax. It's also a lot more brittle versus the beeswax is nice and flexible. So it still gives you a really nice feel, like a nice hand to it.
I love that. This was a thrill, I'm not gonna lie. Dip in this leaf,
Right, and look, it's already dry.
It's already dry.
Already dry and preserved, ready to craft, and also
And it smells like cake. It's a good thing.
That is a huge win.
Huge win for sure. All right, so we've got got those beautiful leaves. I love that. But we've also got another way that's maybe a little less kind of traditional fall color.
Yes,
What
exactly.
are we doing here?
So instead of fall color, I went for fall metallic finishes in kind of the golds, the coppers, the bronzes. And these are little leaf dishes that I made here that look like metal. I particularly think that they do. They have a really nice kind of fold to them, nice little hand. And these are just made with air dry clay.
Oh, cool.
So, which I've said many times on the show before, is essentially adult Play-Doh, which I love.
Yeah.
And all you need to do for this, I actually have a little tape of me making all of these. This was a weekend project. Just rolling it out and then pressing the leaf. Now, you'll notice that I press the back of the leaf.
Where all the
we
veins
want
are.
all of the veins and the grains and all the texture there. So this is, again, a very therapeutic craft. I think we all need a little more crafting in our life, a little decompression. And then you can see I just used a little bit of water on my fingertips to smooth out the edges. Really simple. And then this is the key, a little bit of the cling wrap in a bowl to place in there to get that little like curve, which I just think, again, adds that organic element to it for the season.
Put your fall car keys in there.
Right.
And you're good to go.
Whether it's a little dish, you could even put like a little hole in the end and use it as like an incense holder as well, which would be lovely. I have one here just because I wanted you to experience the thrill of the reveal.
Okay, let's do it.
Because this is so fun. So again, rolling pin in there and you can just lift that up and you get that beautiful pattern.
That was so nice to do.
Which is so nice. And then you don't need any fancy tools. I do have some clay tools here.
Like a butter knife would work.
You could literally just use a butter knife and you don't need to be precious because again, you're gonna mold this out once it's finished. And you just pull away all of the negative clay.
Dreamy.
Ball that up and make your next dish.
Oh, I love that. That is so cute. All right, now, last but not least, I'm very excited about this. This one feels like we're going a little bit back to kindergarten.
Okay, we are. Any opportunity to stamp anything.
Love a stamp.
This is like the old school potato stamp.
Remember the potato stamp? And you carve like a star and you'd be like, yes, I'm an artist.
Love a potato stamp, love the orange stamps, but also love leaf stamps. So again, when you're out grabbing some leaves, I should note, actually for this project, I did use the wax leaves because I found that paint doesn't stick then to that. It transfers a little bit better. I have a little behind the scenes again of me doing the stamping here. And it's such an easy process. I just use craft paint from the dollar store to paint, again, the veiny side of the leaf. You'll notice the wax paper is actually really important. You can use a rolling pin, but really important to place down because then when you're rolling over top, if any paint squishes out, you're not transferring that paint onto the fabric. Exactly, onto the roller that can transfer onto the fabric. And then it just makes these really beautiful, like, I feel like they're a more modern kind of feel. You can pick colors for this project that match your decor, so they don't have to be even fall specific. Like, why not do blue leaves and it's just the leaf in itself that adds that really beautiful element. But so this here, I just want to show you my little tool. Anybody who's looking to do something fun, this is called a brayer, but again, you can also use a rolling pin to roll these out. So another like little reveal here, if you want to lift this up. And you get that beautiful imprint on there. So as you saw, I cut them out to leave a little bit of the negative space. I just like that look. Now, they're floppy, which for me is amazing that you could stitch these onto napkins.
I was gonna say,
I didn't,
Could you use like fabric paint and do this on like a cloth napkin?
You absolutely could, or a tablecloth. I will tell you, I was too chicken. Because I was afraid I was gonna mess it up. So that's why I liked creating the small ones that then I could stitch on. And I ended up stitching these just onto some pillows. These were $5 pillowcases. So great, just a little seasonal touch in the house. And you could always like take them off if you wanted to, or since they're pillowcases, like the cushion covers, just put them in the closet when the season's over as well. But I just wanna point out, so this is the floppy fabric. But I'm gonna hand you that. And then I'm gonna hand you this one and tell me the difference.
Oh, this one's crunchy.
It's crunchy, crunchy like a leaf. I used a fabric stiffener on some of them, and then it allowed me a little bit of structure. So something as simple, again, a forged branch with a few little mini safety, little clothes pegs on there. And it just creates, I think, a really beautiful, subtle display for the season. You could use these in so many different ways.
This is great. I never thought we would use like fabric starch on this show, and I'm amped about it. I love starch.
Even just a little cornstarch and water mixed together will give you that same effect, or school glue and water on your fabric. Again, will give you a nice stiffened fabric
finish. That is fantastic. And again, these, like outside, a little like outdoor fabric. Porch.
Love that.
Guys, we got projects for our porch. Leigh-Ann, a great job. Thank you so much. Happy fall. We gotta take a break. We'll be right back. Oh, it's so good to see.
Coming up, we have the real estate tips you need if you're falling for a new home. That's coming up.
Want to be on the good stuff?
Yeah! Amazing! Okay.
Whether you're ready for a brand new look,
Oh my gosh!
a refresh in your living space,
Oh my God.
need help with a special event, or want to show off your skills in the kitchen,
All right,
simply scan the QR code below and apply to be on the show.
If you are in the real estate market, Jayden Kennedy is here with her checklist to help you shop smart and avoid costly surprises. Hey, Jayden, how's it going?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Okay, Jayden.
Yes.
Fall market.
Yes.
What's going on?
Okay, so do you remember during COVID when you went to buy a property and you didn't even have the opportunity to drive to the house and it was already sold?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so now it's completely opposite.
Okay.
You have the time to shop.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to put conditions in like financing and inspection. Interest rates are coming down, which is great. The house prices are also low too,
Okay.
which is great. So it's like the perfect storm
Yeah.
if you are trying to get into the market.
Okay.
I would say the big winners also are first-time buyers and the homeowners who are looking to move up.
Okay.
They might sell at a little bit of a discount, but the property that they're moving into is even more expensive and selling for even less. So there's a
Okay.
great spread on that front.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
love that. Now, we're going to go through kind of your checklist on how to approach home buying just to make sure we do it as well as possible in the right
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Okay, we're starting off with your checklist, and we're starting off with location and community.
Yes, so location and community is super important because it's not just the property that you're buying, you're essentially buying into a community. So there's a few things you really want to consider. Something would be school zones,
Yeah.
right? If you're in a good school zone, the value of your property is going to hold longer and it will most likely sell for less than properties that aren't in quality school areas. And a lot of people actually look specifically for properties in designated areas, so it's important to keep that in mind. A couple other things are going to be like access to amenities, right? People like a convenient lifestyle. How close are we, of course, to schools,
Yes.
but then also shopping, grocery stores, hospitals, transportation, etc.
Yeah.
The closer you are to those things, odds are the higher the value is going to be of your property.
Okay.
And a little bit of a hack or a tip I would say is look for places that are really developing. If a lot of big box stores are going in there, if you see the white coffee cups with a little, green logo on it,
Yeah,
yes,
we know.
those
Yeah.
people, they do their due diligence.
Yeah.
They are not going to invest millions of dollars in a community that they don't see good growth opportunity in.
Yeah.
So if you look for properties in those areas with expanding transit lines, big box stores, etc., that's a great sign that you are going to see a return on investment down the line.
Okay, that's fantastic. It's true, though. You're buying a house, but you're also buying kind of the neighborhood, right?
100%.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
all about lifestyle too.
Totally. I love that. All right, next up, we're going to talk about, this is like the nitty gritty.
Yes.
Structural integrity is super important of the actual house you're buying.
Yes, so just a reminder, I'm a realtor, I'm not a home inspector,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I am going to give you guys a little bit of my opinion on this.
Yeah.
So once again, we find the property that we like, but we want to make sure that it's structurally sound because there's no point in buying a house in an area that you like if it's not going to be structurally sound. So for example, foundation, you want to make sure that there's no cracks, no leaks, etc. because if you have a faulty foundation, that could impact the structure of the entire house. You also want to take a look at a few big ticket items like the roofs, the windows, HVAC, and air conditioning. Now, those could cost tens of thousands of dollars, but what could also cost you is rentals. So a lot of people, when they purchase a property, they think, oh, I own the home, I own everything in it. But a lot of the time, there are rental contracts in the property, and you might actually assume the contract.
Okay.
So a really common one is going to be a hot water tank rental.
Yes.
They typically run you between, I'd say, $20 to $60 a month.
Yeah.
Something that's not as common, but what we do see is air conditioning and HVAC rentals too.
Oh, okay.
Now, these things can run you between $200 to $300 a month,
Oh, whoa.
which is quite a big expense,
Yeah.
especially if you're buying a house and you're already, putting a lot of capital into it.
Yeah.
So definitely talk with your realtor and make sure they identify what are rental contracts. And if you're working with a realtor who has a bit of negotiation skills, maybe try to get the seller to buy out that rental contract prior to you moving in,
Okay.
so you don't have to take on the rental when you move into the property.
Okay, I love that. That's a really great tip. Now, we kind of touched on this. Obviously, there are big financial considerations.
Yes.
So what are your tips when it comes to that?
So a lot of people, they buy a house and they don't consider what monthly numbers they're going to be dealing with.
Yeah.
Sure, you have the down payment, you can purchase the property, but can you afford this on a monthly basis? If you have kids, can you pay for their sports while also continuing to carry the mortgage?
Yeah.
So a few things to consider. Number one, mortgage payments is going to be the biggest one. Then we have home insurance, we have utilities, and then we also have property taxes.
Yeah.
A lot of people forget about property taxes. This could be taxed your monthly mortgage payments, or you could potentially pay it annually. So you want to keep those in mind too. But then you also want to keep your goals in mind. If you're purchasing this property, is it going to suit your lifestyle needs a few years down the road? If it's not, run the numbers and understand what are going to be my realtor fees when I go to sell this property. Am I going to have enough proceeds to purchase another property down the line? And things of that nature.
Okay, fantastic. Now, finally, and this is a big one, I highly recommend it as well, the actual buying process. What is your big tip here?
Yes, so this can all be overwhelming. I feel like I'm giving you guys a lot of information, but if you work with the professionals, they will guide you in the right direction. So a few professionals I recommend are going to be your realtor, your mortgage professional, a lawyer, and potentially a home inspector, depending on the market it is that you're in. So you want to connect with a mortgage professional to get pre-approved, but also to understand what your monthly numbers are going to be when it comes to your mortgage, so you know what to expect. Then you're going to work with your realtor, who will walk you through the home buying process, literally, I guess, walk you through houses too. But then also show you historical statistics to understand if it's a good investment or not. So a great benchmark I use is look at property sale prices during COVID to get an idea of what people are willing to pay for the property when the market is hot, and sort of use that as a bit of a baseline. Then we have your lawyer, right? So you want to make sure when you're purchasing a property, there's no outstanding legal issues with the existing owner. So the lawyer will run what is known as title to make sure that everything is clear and you're good to go. They'll also facilitate closing. A lot of them are virtual post-COVID now, which is nice, which is convenient. And then make sure that the property looks the same as it was when you purchased as for closing. Because if, for example, someone takes out an appliance, we want to make sure that you get reimbursed for that appliance, right?
1000%.
Yes.
Jayden, this was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for these tips. That was great.
You're welcome.
We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Are you sitting at home thinking, hey, seeing the good stuff live would be fun? Well, you are in luck. We would love for you, along with your friends and family, to be a part of our studio audience. Just scan the QR code at the bottom of your screen for your chance to join us. Tickets are free. Can't wait to hear from you. Tonight, so we thought it would be fun to head out to Bela Farm with the executive director of Rosh for their annual honey harvest. Here's T. Ferret.
It's Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and it's a custom on Rosh Hashanah to eat symbolic foods to set the intention for the year to come. One of the most famous symbolic foods for Rosh Hashanah is dipping apples in honey for a sweet new year. We're a local charity focused on offering opportunities for nature connection for the Jewish community, and we gather every year for a community highlight, our annual honey harvest.
We're here at Bela Farm, Shorish's rural home, where our honeybees collect nectars from our flowers and bring it back to their hives. They store it in the cells of the honeycomb, and they seal it off with a little wax capping. When we're harvesting honey, we need to remove the wax capping to make it possible for the honey to flow out. So we very gently take the top layer of wax off of the honeycomb so that all of the cells are open, and we put it into the extractor. We spin the frames of honey in the extractor, and with centripetal force, the honey flows out to the side and down into the bottom of the extractor, where it gets strained through 2 strainers. We melt down the wax cappings in our solar wax melter using the power of the sun, and then we take those wax bars and make our own homemade salves using plants from the farm. It smells amazing. We also work with local artisans to create candles, Shabbat candles, Hanukkah candles, Havdalah candles that are made out of beeswax and 100% Canadian cotton wicks so that we can bring beauty and nature awareness to all of our celebrations. This year, we've harvested over 1,500 jars of honey, which are going to be adorning the Rosh Hashanah table of so many community members. We wish them and you all a Shana Tova.
Shana Tova. Big thanks to Rosh and T. Ferret for taking us along. That is our show for today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more of The Good Stuff.